Have you ever started your morning feeling stiff, unusually tired, or just not quite yourself, only to be told by doctors that it's simply a normal part of getting older? I used to believe that too, but I've come to a different conclusion, and I believe many doctors may have overlooked something important. My name is Dr. John Carter. I'm a clinical cardiologist and former professor at one of America's leading medical schools, with over 40 years of experience caring for older adults. Throughout my career, I've seen thousands of patients experience a steady decline in their health as they age, most often due to small habits that compound over time. But what's always stayed with me is this. Many of these health issues aren't an inevitable part of aging, as so many people believe. I don't just say this as a doctor, I say it as someone who's living through it. I'm 88 years old this year. I don't take any long-term medications. I live independently, and I wake up each morning feeling mentally sharp and physically steady. This isn't because of luck or genetics. The real difference lies in 5 simple morning habits I've followed for decades. Habits that might seem small, but have had a lasting impact on my heart, memory, and daily energy. I remember 2 years ago during my routine checkup, the internist was surprised. My blood pressure, circulation, and vascular flexibility all resembled those of someone in their early 60s, nearly 30 years younger than my actual age. When asked what I'd done differently, I simply said, I've never skipped these 5 morning habits I'm about to share. What concerns me most is that one of these habits, perhaps the most important one, takes less than 4 minutes to learn, yet almost every older adult I've spoken to has completely ignored it. And by doing so, they're missing out on one of the most powerful opportunities to preserve their cognitive function naturally, without the need for medication. If you're in your 60s or beyond, I truly believe what I'm about to share could help you live a healthier, more vibrant life, not based on vague promises, but from the lived experience of a doctor who's been practicing what he preaches for nearly a century. Habit 1. Proper hydration right after waking up. I want to start with the simplest habit, one I've followed for nearly 20 years, yet many people overlook: strategic morning hydration. The truth is, most people over 60 wake up mildly dehydrated and don't even realize it. That morning stiffness, brain fog, or lingering fatigue. Often, dehydration is the quiet culprit, gradually affecting not just how we feel but our long-term cognitive and physical health. Research from Johns Hopkins University has shown that even mild dehydration can reduce cognitive performance by nearly 30% and increase inflammation markers, key contributors to heart disease and degenerative conditions, by over 30% in older adults. Here's the problem. While we sleep, we lose nearly a liter of water just through breathing and perspiration. But instead of replenishing it properly, many of us start the day with a cup of coffee, which is a diuretic and can actually worsen dehydration. I remember a patient of mine, Linda, she was 82 at the time, who often woke up with headaches and felt dizzy when standing up too quickly. For years, she tried different medications for headaches and balance issues. But as we later discovered, her real issue was chronic morning dehydration. It's not just about stiff joints. Dehydration affects how well your brain transmits signals. During sleep, your brain accumulates metabolic waste, and without proper hydration first thing in the morning, your body can't clear it efficiently. That groggy, out of it feeling many people chalk up to age. It might simply be your brain struggling to wake up in a dry environment. The fix is surprisingly simple. Before going to bed, set out a glass of warm water, about 16 ounces, with a small pinch of natural mineral salt. Drink it right after waking up, before coffee or breakfast. Warm water absorbs faster, and a bit of natural, not refined. Salt helps balance electrolytes and pulls water into your cells, not just through your digestive system. If you don't enjoy plain water, you can squeeze in some fresh lemon juice, but skip the sugar or artificial sweeteners. They interfere with the body's natural metabolic responses in the morning. This isn't just vague advice to drink more water. It's about timing your hydration when your body needs it most, right after sleep. Within just a few days, you might notice your joints move more easily and your mind feels sharper. After a few weeks, many people report better digestion, more stable energy, and noticeably more hydrated skin. I began this habit when I turned 70. Nearly 20 years later, it's still the first thing I do each morning. It's a small step, but it marked the beginning of my decision to take charge of my health, and it's made all the difference. Habit 2. Getting morning sunlight to reset your body's natural clock. After hydrating first thing in the morning, the second habit I never skip, and one I often recommend to my older patients, is stepping outside and getting some natural light within 30 minutes of waking up. Here's something most people don't realize. Daylight, especially early morning light, is essential for resetting your body's internal clock or circadian rhythm. Without the right light exposure at the right time, your body can fall out of sync, leading to disrupted sleep, mood swings, weakened immunity, and even faster aging. A study from the University of Colorado found that just a few days without morning light exposure can increase the risk of depression in older adults by up to 69%. Not because people become less active, but because their bodies lose the ability to clearly distinguish day from night. Sleep researchers at Stanford University also confirmed this. Just 10 to 15 minutes of natural sunlight in the morning is enough to reset your biological rhythm and boost serotonin levels by as much as 42%. Serotonin is the brain chemical that helps stabilize mood, and it's also what your body needs to make melatonin, the hormone that supports deep, restful sleep at night. Here's how it works. Morning light contains special wavelengths that your eyes detect using a type of receptor called melanopsin. Once triggered, these receptors send a signal to the hypothalamus, the master clock in your brain that coordinates everything from hormone production to temperature regulation, digestion, metabolism, and immune function. I remember a patient of mine, Robert, 78, who had been relying on sleeping pills for years. We simply switched his daily walk from late afternoon to early morning. Within a few weeks, he was sleeping soundly, without medication. And the biggest surprise, it wasn't the walking that made the difference. It was the light. When your body doesn't get enough morning light, it delays melatonin production at night. That leads to poor quality sleep, incomplete brain recovery, increased inflammation, and faster aging. I've seen this pattern play out time and time again in my older patients, and it's not just about sleep. Your circadian rhythm affects over 150 essential body functions, like blood pressure, insulin response, immune health, tissue repair, and even how well your body absorbs nutrients. Research from Northwestern University has shown that older adults with disrupted circadian rhythms experience muscle loss and cognitive decline at a much faster rate. So here's my practical advice. Get direct exposure to natural light within 30 minutes of waking up. Aim for at least 10 to 15 minutes every morning, even if it's cloudy. Don't wear sunglasses and don't stand behind a window. The light needs to pass directly through your eyes to activate the necessary signals. If the weather's bad, sitting by a window is better than nothing, but the effect is cut in half. And if you live in a place with long, dark winters, consider using a medical-grade light therapy lamp that mimics natural morning sunlight. It's been clinically tested and can make a real difference. Each morning, your body is waiting for that signal from light to start its daily cycle. Whether or not you send that signal, that part is up to you. After just 5-7 days of consistent morning light exposure, many people notice they fall asleep more easily. After 3-4 weeks, many of my patients report feeling brighter, more energized during the day, and even improvements in digestion and regularity. Habit 3. A 4-minute morning brain activation routine. After waking up your body with water and sunlight, the next step I take each morning is to wake up my brain. And no, it doesn't require coffee or brain games. Just a simple 4-minute routine that can have far greater benefits than most people realize. Did you know that the aging brain can lose up to 30,000 neural connections each morning if it isn't properly activated? That's not an exaggeration. It's a finding from neuroscience research on brain plasticity in older adults. A study from Harvard Medical School found that performing light cognitive exercises within the first 30 minutes of waking up can increase neural adaptability by 37%, improve executive function, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, attention, and self-regulation, throughout the day. Why is this timing so critical? Right after waking, the brain enters a sensitive window when BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, peaks. BDNF is like biological fertilizer for the brain. It helps build new connections and strengthen existing neural networks. If you don't actively engage your brain during this peak window, BDNF levels drop within a few hours, and the opportunity to restore lost connections is gone. According to the National Institute on Aging, NIA, older adults who skip morning mental stimulation have a 29% higher risk of cognitive decline. Worse still, this decline often happens silently. Many don't notice until memory loss or confusion becomes obvious. By then, it's much harder to reverse. So what's the solution? I call it the 4-4-4 challenge. A sequence of 4 brain-boosting actions, done in 4 minutes every morning. 1. Solve a simple math problem to activate the prefrontal cortex responsible for logical thinking. 2. Recall a vivid memory, like your 30th birthday or a favorite vacation, to stimulate the hippocampus, which handles long-term memory. 3. Learn 4 new words to exercise the brain's language and short-term memory centers. 4. Visualize part of your upcoming day, such as a meeting or task you need to complete, to engage the executive system and improve planning. The key is cross-connectivity, activating multiple areas of the brain at once. That's what helps protect against age-related cognitive decline. Crossword puzzles and Sudoku are helpful, but they often target only one type of brain function. This routine stimulates several at the same time. Why only 4 minutes? Because research shows that short, high-focus stimulation is far more effective than longer, passive activity. You don't need hours of training, just the right activity at the right time. The best way to stay consistent: prepare the night before, write down a math problem, pick a memory to recall, choose 4 new words to learn, think about one thing you'll do tomorrow, put them next to your bed, or save them in your phone so they're ready when you wake up. Here's what you can expect. Within a few days, you'll feel more alert in the morning with less brain fog. After a few weeks, improved memory, sharper word recall, and better decision-making. After a few months, a stronger cognitive reserve, your brain's ability to adapt and bounce back from stress or damage. I began this 4-minute habit at age 70. Now, at 88, it's still part of my daily routine. And I truly believe it's one of the key reasons I've been able to maintain my memory, focus, and mental sharpness for all these years. Habit 4. A strategic movement routine designed for the aging body. The next thing I do each morning is move, but not in the way many people think of as exercise. I'm not trying to burn calories or work up a sweat. The goal here is to maintain safe, intentional mobility that matches the physiology of an aging body. One of the most common mistakes I see in older adults is trying to follow morning workouts designed for younger people. Movements like deep forward bends, fast neck rotations, or aggressive stretches may look gentle, but they can actually cause micro-injuries to already degenerating joints, especially when done right after waking up, before the body is biologically ready. According to Mayo Clinic research, performing the wrong types of morning exercises can increase overall inflammation in older adults by up to 31%. On the other hand, a properly designed movement sequence, just 7 minutes long, can reduce joint pain and stiffness by as much as 44% in just 2 weeks. The reason lies in how our connective tissues age. Collagen fibers lose moisture, become less elastic, and are more prone to injury. The body doesn't respond well to forceful stretching the way it did in your 30s or 40s. What it needs now is a gentle, progressive warm-up that eases into motion without shock. In fact, some movements that seem harmless may pose significant risks. 1. Deep forward bends can put excess pressure on spinal discs that are already dehydrated, leading to lower back pain or disc injury. 2. Rapid neck twists can suddenly alter blood flow to the brain, particularly dangerous for those with narrowed vertebral arteries. That's why I recommend a simple sequence I call the inside-out mobility sequence, starting at the center of the body and moving outward. It includes 5 gentle steps. 1. Shoulder rolls 30 seconds. Sit up straight, relax your arms and begin small shoulder circles, gradually expanding the motion. This warms up the shoulders, neck, and upper back. 2. Seated marching 1 minute. While sitting in a sturdy chair, alternate lifting each knee as if you're walking in place. This boosts circulation and gently activates your core. 3. Chest opener using a doorway 30 seconds. Stand in a doorway, place your hands on either side at shoulder height and lean forward slightly. This opens the chest, improves posture, and helps prevent hunching. 4. Supported squats 1 minute. Holding onto a table or the back of a chair, gently lower into a squat as far as comfortable. This activates your glutes and thighs, key muscles for safe standing and walking. 5. Ankle circles 30 seconds per foot. While seated, extend one leg and slowly rotate your ankle in both directions. This improves flexibility and helps reduce fall risk from weak ankle control. This isn't about burning energy. The purpose is to protect your joints, improve circulation, and preserve independence in movement, the core elements that define quality of life in our later years. Within just a few days of consistent practice, you may notice less stiffness and greater ease getting up and down. After 2 weeks, your posture improves, aches decrease, and by 1 month, many people regain the confidence to step out of a car, pick something up from the floor, or turn over in bed without pain. I began this mobility sequence at age 88, after realizing my previous exercise routines were starting to leave my joints achy and sore. And to this day, it remains the foundation that allows me to take care of myself, without help and without assistive devices. Habit 5. Eating protein at the right time to preserve muscle as you age. After I finish my morning movement routine to gently activate my muscles, there's one final step I take every day, and it's one of the most important: giving my body the right kind of nutrition at the right time. Specifically, I always prioritize high-quality protein right after morning movement. Many older adults believe that as long as they're getting enough protein throughout the day, they're doing fine. But that's not entirely true. According to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, if you skip protein at breakfast, even if your total daily protein intake is adequate, you could lose muscle mass up to 23% faster after age 70. Why? Because of a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. After age 60, our bodies become less responsive to protein. In other words, older adults build less muscle from the same amount of protein compared to younger people. That means it's not just about how much protein you eat, but when and how you eat it. Unfortunately, most people do the opposite. A typical traditional breakfast for many seniors, toast, fruit, and coffee, offers almost no muscle-building support. Then they eat most of their protein at dinner, the worst time for muscle synthesis because the body's ability to use it has already declined for the day. I recall one patient, Evelyn, age 91, who came to me with significant muscle weakness. She struggled to stand and walk. Her daily protein intake was fine, but she was eating it at the wrong times. We made one simple change, starting her mornings with eggs and Greek yogurt. Within 3 months, she regained basic strength and was able to walk independently again. And this isn't just about muscle. A high-carb, low-protein breakfast can also spike your blood sugar, trigger chronic low-grade inflammation, increase morning fatigue, reduce mental focus and alertness. There's also a narrow, anabolic window, about 1 to 2 hours after waking, when your body is primed to absorb amino acids and rebuild muscle tissue after the overnight fast. Miss that window, and your body's ability to use protein drops significantly. So what's the solution? Within 30 minutes of your morning movement, aim to consume 25–30 grams of high-quality protein. Some easy options include 2 eggs with a bit of fresh cheese, Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder, whey or plant-based, a protein smoothie with added collagen peptides. Why eat protein after light movement? Because exercise increases blood flow to your muscles, making them more receptive to amino acids and helping maximize muscle protein synthesis. What to avoid? Skip high glycemic carbs like white bread, fruit juice, or overripe bananas. These spike insulin levels and can interfere with the muscle-building process. Within just a few days of making this change, many people report feeling more energized in the mornings and find it easier to get going. After a few weeks, strength and balance noticeably improve. And after 3 months, studies show that those who time their protein intake correctly in the morning maintain more muscle mass than those sticking to a high-carb breakfast. I began this habit in my mid-80s, when I first noticed my strength fading, even though my weight and diet hadn't changed. With this simple adjustment, I've been able to maintain much of my strength, even now at 88, without needing complicated supplements or intense workouts. I don't believe these 5 habits are a one-size-fits-all solution. But I can tell you, as a doctor with over 40 years of experience, and as someone who is now 88 years old and still living independently, that they've made a meaningful difference in my own life. Each habit is grounded in a clear purpose, supported by science, and carefully chosen to match the needs of an aging body, not based on routines designed for younger people. I didn't adopt all of them at once. I took it step by step, adjusting my mornings gradually, year by year, as my health and body changed. And what I've learned is this: the human body is remarkably adaptable if you give it the right support at the right time. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or well into your 80s, it's never too late to improve your quality of life, one day at a time. You don't need to rely on pills or medical devices. You just need to understand what your body truly needs and start caring for it with small, intentional choices each morning. If even one of these habits resonates with you, I encourage you to give it a try, starting tomorrow. You don't need to change everything. Just begin with one thing and stick with it consistently. I believe you'll start to feel the difference, not just in your body, but in how you approach each new day. If you found any value in what I've shared, I'd truly appreciate it if you left a short comment below. Let me know which habit you're starting with, or feel free to share your own morning health routines. And if you'd like to continue receiving practical, trustworthy health insights like this, feel free to follow the channel to support my work. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Wishing you a morning full of strength, health, and joy.